there, and welcome to Together Time, Making Memorable Moments. This is brought to you by the Westmont Public Library and Dementia-Friendly Westmont. My name is Mary Ferguson, and I'm with the Birches in Clarendon Hills, and my partner, Patty Turkovich, who you'll meet very shortly, is with Aspired Living of Westmont. We are, again, both here on behalf of Dementia-Friendly Westmont to talk about reminiscing and spending quality time together with your loved one. First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about Dementia-Friendly Westmont. In your activity kit, if you were to pick one up here at the library, it is a resource guide here. This was put together to allow you to find some resources in the community for support, whether it's adult daycare, whether it's a physician, whatever you might need, as well as education. And so that is what we're doing here today through the library, through Dementia-Friendly Westmont. Dementia Friendly is a grassroots effort. It's really to raise awareness, support those living in the community that have a diagnosis of dementia, as well as their care partners. We really want to create an environment that's welcoming and warm, and so those that are living here in the Westmont area can feel part of the community, and we're here to support you. That being said, we're going to move on to our Together Time activity. For those of you who have joined us in the past, welcome back. This one will be a little bit different than the other ones. The activity kits is presented to you from the Westmont Library, as well as the Dupage County, the Forest Preserve. We're talking about, we're talking about a time now in the summer where we want to get out and about and continue to enjoy the nice weather that we've been having, but certainly do it in a safe environment. But I'll also have a little more fun with it. So one of the things in your packet that you're going to get is, again, part of the Forest Preserve, and it's a wonderful trail guide. So that's one of the things that you'll see. Talks about the different trails here in DuPage County. Now, if you don't live in DuPage County, certainly reach out to your Forest Preserve district, but come hang out with us in DuPage County for a little bit. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot to see, and we're going to kind of go through that today, myself and Patty. So that's one of the things that you'll have in your little packet. Now, one of the things Patty will talk about a little bit later, but she wanted me to do this as we take our little bus trip. Very cool little treat that Patty will talk about later is a bus. But really, we want you to get out and about and really enjoy nature. It's very important. So a couple things about nature and why we wanted to kind of focus on this. So I apologize as I look down, as I have some of my notes here. I do want to make sure that I am very specific about why we feel this is important. First of all, walks in nature can help your memory. We hear more and more now about mindful meditation, being in the moment, and nature is a wonderful way to help center us and bring us back to that. There was a study done at the University of Michigan that showed that participants who took a memory test and then walked in nature for 20%, walked in nature, did 20% better when they came back and took that test again. So that alone just tells you being out in nature helps us recenter ourselves, helps us focus. In a world of nonstop news, nonstop entertainment, streaming, all of us through COVID, we've been locked down in our homes for a lot of time, and we're watching more TV than ever before, which really is not necessarily the best thing for our brains. So certainly being out in nature is going to help us do that. There was a Finnish study that I thought was interesting, was that 15 minutes of sitting in nature helped people feel psychologically restored. One of the things I want to emphasize is for those that do have memory impairment, nature is wonderful, but it's even more important for the caregiver as well. So this is a great activity that you can do together that's going to benefit both of you. It doesn't take a lot of effort to participate in just in re-engaging with nature. There was also another study that showed that people that were exposed to more natural light healed faster, and that they had less pain than others. I think that's very telling. We hear that, and unfortunately in the Chicagoland area, we only have limited sunlight throughout the day where we really get out and enjoy it. So again, another real important reason why to get out and get that natural sunlight on your skin, to smell the fresh air, to listen to the birds. Nature is very, very healing, as we're finding with different studies. Also, being out in nature prompts weight loss. I don't know about you, but I think we joke about COVID-19, meaning that it's 19 pounds that a lot of people have gained being stuck in your home. So again, if we're getting out in nature, we're walking, we're exercising, that's great for our overall health, not just our mental health, which is very important. Being out in the sun will improve your vitamin D. It will help limit your stress. We all are living in a stressful world and a stressful time right now, so it's even more important to make sure that you find ways to decompress and really ward off any stress and any illness that can come along with added stress. It also can strengthen your immune system. Less stress we have, the better off we all do. So being in nature, and that's an easy thing to do, whether it's sitting on your balcony or going for walks and enjoying and really being more submerged in nature is very important. And then a Japanese study showed that women who spend 6 hours in the woods over a two-day period of time increase their white blood cells, which help fight viruses. So I think there's quite a bit of studies that shown being in nature is more than just getting out of the house. It's really trying to center your body again, center your mind, and certainly your health overall will improve. So that being said, I do want to talk a little bit more about what we do have here. So I already showed you that we have our trail guide. Okay, so if you're looking through this, what's pretty amazing in here, the Park District or the Forest Preserve put together different trails throughout the county. So I'm just going to pull this one. This happens to be Maple Grove and McDowell Grove. So what's nice about here, it does have the key, so it tells you how far it is. It'll also tell you is it limestone, is it asphalt? So as you're planning your day, you know what you should be wearing for safety. You also may not want to start out on a 3-mile walk if you haven't been out and about for a while. So think about, as you plan your day, what you want to do. And we really encourage you to sit down and make a plan. Don't just get in the car and say, hey, let's go here. And we'll get into that in a little bit more, especially Patty will, on why it's important to plan, how to plan, and things to keep in mind. But the Forest Preserve, this is another thing that you'll have, is a great map. So depending on where you live, you may want to say, hey, drop the pin down and go within a 3 or 4, 10-mile radius, depending on what you've been to and what you haven't been. But this is a great idea of keep this up on your refrigerator. Circle places that you want to go to, and then find them in the trail guide to see what it looks like, and is that going to be something that's reasonable. Kind of challenge yourself. Maybe you're going to say, you know what, every Monday we're going to take a walk, and we're going to try something new. That's going to be fantastic for your brain in the sense of new sensory items. But remember, you're in nature, and so that's even different. So the birds will be different, the trees will be different, the ground will be different. So there's so many things that will be different on each walk that certainly can benefit you as well. But I thought this was just wonderful that the Forest District even has this. But this is all the Forest Preserves. And again, the trails will go through it and give you more detail about how long it's going to be, where it's at, and then they also talk about what else you can do there. There's hiking, can you bike, other things too. So maybe this is something that you want to meet some family and come out and do a trail together. Maybe you have someone who wants to bike. You can kind of do it a little bit differently. If you're like, hey, why don't you guys go bike and we'll meet you later, or we'll all walk together. So again, this is a great thing to share with friends and family, but put this on your refrigerator and start planning what you want to do each week. So again, that's another thing that is in your book. And then the other one is the visitor's guide. And I thought this was great because it does talk about places to picnic as a larger group. But one of the things that caught my eye was special destinations. So I'm going to again hold this up so you can see it. This is on page, don't have my glasses, 11. And so what's nice about this is part of the Park District or the Forest Preserve District, but it has a little bit more to offer. So one of the things here that I love, and my kids loved it, was Willowbrook Wildlife Center. So if you haven't been there, it is in Glen Ellen. It's very close to COD. What they do is they take in animals that have been wounded. Let's say you have, a wounded rabbit or a wounded bird that you have found. If you make arrangements with Willowbrook, they will take them in and rehab them with the goal of trying to set them back into the wild. But for animals that are not able to be released back into the wild, it's almost like a mini zoo. There's an outdoor area that has a nice little walking path that you can go through. It's nicely shaded through this area. It has owls, it has foxes, it's had raccoons. At one point they used to have a bald eagle many, many years ago. So they do find some very interesting wildlife that unfortunately cannot be rehabbed. In the Wildlife Center, which I know right now, unfortunately, that is closed to the public because of COVID, but it hopefully will open up again in the fall. They have classes. You can see them feed baby birds, and they'll do a lot more education. And so that actually is a very fascinating thing. And for anybody, I think for myself, I always thought it was very interesting, these people that have volunteers, some of the background that they have to rehab these animals. That's just one of them. There's the Donata, the Equestrian Center. There's Maze Lake Peabody Estate, Klein Creek, St. James Farm, and then there's Fullersburg Wood Nature Education Center in Oak Brook. So there's probably a lot of hidden gems that you may not have realized are in DuPage County. And these are things that are open to the public, so certainly go ahead and utilize them. But these are all wonderful things here in DuPage County that you guys can do together. And that really is our focus today, is making sure we talk about nature. We wanted to give you as much information as we could so that as you plan your outings, that you're prepared. There's certainly no excuse to say there's nothing to do here in DuPage County when it comes to the Forest Preserve districts. Some are smaller and some are larger. And so, most people know about Herrick Lake. That's something, Ty Warner Park if you live in the area. But this is nice because maybe you want to challenge yourself a little bit more. Get in the car, pack up a lunch and go. So again, these are things that'll be in your activity kit. And so I'm going to kind of summarize one last thing. When again, we talk about being a caregiver, we talk about caring for someone with memory, it's important for you to make sure that you care for yourself as well. And nature is one way to do that, to get back into that. And the other thing is, being in nature can also, the sunlight, the fresh air, can lessen feelings of depression. So as a caregiver, we know that can be stressful at times. So it's very important that you're taking care of yourself. So being out in nature is a wonderful way for you to spend wonderful quality time together, whether you're having a conversation or whether you're just walking arm in arm and enjoying the sunlight, the smells, the air, whatever it might be. It's good for both of you. It's good for the whole family. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Patty Turkovich. She's going to talk a little bit more about, now that you know what your options are and where you go, how to plan for that trip and things to keep in mind. So again, thank you so much for joining us today for making Together Time, making memorable moments. And Patty's going to take it from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. Hi. As you know, I'm Patty Turkovich. I am with Aspired Living Westmont and very happy to be part of Together Time. When we came up with the idea to do the Out and About Town program, really it was, the genesis was that we are so fed up of being stuck inside ourselves, and the whole question about where to go, what can we do, what makes sense, where would be a safe place to go, and how to maneuver that. Travel at this moment in time is a little tricky. Everyone is trying to figure out where to go, where to be safe, and how they can do it so they can at least get outdoors. Mary did a great job in covering all of the things that we can benefit from in being out and about. I'm here to talk about a few other factors as you're out and about town. First of all, as you've identified where to go, where you want to go, how you're going to do that, this is also, as you've heard us say if you've seen our other videos, these are also activities that you can have that family member, that, good friend who wants to give you a break. These are things that they can also do if they're comfortable. Not everyone may be comfortable depending on the stage of the disease your loved one is in. Maybe some of the behaviors that they have, it may not be appropriate, but you can look at these, at how you can modify them, and would it make sense? Would your friend or family member feel comfortable going out? Because we can't make assumptions for them, and I feel way too often, my experience has proven out with families, we make assumptions that this person won't be comfortable doing that, when in fact they would. It's all about being prepared. And that then ties into what I'm here to talk about, preparing for the trip. So you know where you're going, you know when you're going, and now you need to put the plan together of what do you need to bring. And it all depends. The variables, of course, will be where are you going. If you are going someplace where there's water and a chance of getting wet, you might want to pack up an extra bag of clothing and have that in the car just in case. If you are going someplace where you are going to be in bright sun, you might want to make sure you've already lotioned up and you have an extra tube with you so you can reapply as needed. Preparing for that day yourself. Are you wearing comfortable clothing? Are you wearing appropriate clothing for the weather? Do you need to bring a light jacket? Shoes. Are you wearing comfortable walking shoes? And I will tell you, they need to be walking shoes. I am the first one. I am someone who loves to run around. No shoes on my feet come summertime, well, pretty much all year round, as long as I can get away with it. Sandals, not appropriate, because chances are if you're out and about, you're going to be in areas that you could stub your toe, break your toes, do all sorts of things that you wouldn't anticipate. So make sure everyone's wearing appropriate footwear, that your clothing is appropriate. If you are someone like me who burns the minute you're in the sun, I don't have 15-minute windows. I start to burn the minute I walk into that sun. So I actually have SPF clothing that I will put on when I know I'm going to be outside for a while. That way I don't burn, I can enjoy the outdoors, and I don't have to worry about where did I leave that suntan lotion now. As you are preparing, also think about hat. That gives you the cool comfort. There are SPF hats out there. There are hats that actually have some cooling gel in them that you could put on if it's going to be a hotter day. But when you are looking at all of that, make sure that you're not getting so overwhelmed that you're not going to enjoy the experience. So for most of us, if you have appropriate protection from the sun, you have appropriate clothing and footwear, you will be fine. You just might want to have backups. You might want to have a jacket. You can leave that in the car so that way you're not hauling more stuff than you need to be. The other thing that you might want to think about is like the fun part. Where are you going? Will they have food? Will they have refreshments? Will they have bathrooms? Those are the things that you really want to understand before you find yourself looking at, okay, where is everything? It's sort of like when you get on the plane, when you arrive at your destination. When we get on the plane, how they are pointing out all the exits, where the bathrooms are, all of those things. That's the same thing that you should take into account, because you don't want to need to find out where the bathroom is in an urgent situation. You also don't want to have to find out where the emergency access for either medical care or their front desk offices are in a crisis. So just make yourself aware whenever you show up to your destination. As you are preparing to leave though, you may want to figure on planning something to bring. Mary had mentioned earlier about a snack or maybe picnic lunches. Look to see if that's something that's appropriate, or would they have food there, because it's always fun to eat out, something different, something that you've not made is also a treat. However, if you realize that it's going to run the gamut of junk food and things that are probably not best eaten, pack a picnic. It's easy, it's fun, and that itself becomes the activity before you even go out and about town. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is safety. Touching on the fact that you could be walking along, and this has happened to me on a beach, walking along, and my toe finds the one boulder that is making its way up the sand. I ended up breaking my toe on that vacation, and fortunately I was at a hotel, I could get to the treatment that I needed, etc. but the littlest things can go wrong at the most unexpected times. And so the Westmont Fire Department was kind enough to donate one of these little first aid kits for us to put in our little gift bags this month, your kit. Smart thing to have. You may have a little first aid kit in your car already. If not, you probably should. I'm not lecturing, I'm just telling you, you never know when it's going to be an emergency. This has your very basic things, Band-Aids, gauze, sterile disinfectant, etc. It's very easy. You touch something, something might have a little point jutting out that you nick yourself. A bug bite, you can put some antibiotic or ointment on it, so again, it stops itching and it doesn't become a bigger deal than need be. So think safety always. If you don't have something in your car, I recommend doing that anyhow. And then the other thing is this is something that's small, portable, lightweight. You could throw it in your sack when you're going out, and you have pretty much anything you would need for minor injuries. The other thing to think about as you're going out about town is, all right, where you're going, we've talked about food, but when you get there, is there a place to sit? Is there a place in shade? You also want to make sure that you are monitoring hydration. So in this month's kit, we have put in a couple of bottles of water for you, so you're good to go from the minute you grab this. I saw these and I thought they were so appropriate for the theme, your little toy bus animal cracker box, so you can get and go. You've got something that is easy to eat, not messy, and that was something that I took into account as I was choosing items, because you don't want to bring something that's going to make you look for something that you can wash your hands with. So I have a lot of things that are like the bunny grams that are actually organic, and cheddar bunnies, which are just cute and break away from the fish. For something a little more filling, I did get this Kind vanilla blueberry bar. And these are things you're going to have to, again, evaluate. Is this something your loved one would eat? Is it something that is stage appropriate for them to eat? All depends on your situation. And then the other thing, some peanut butter crackers, so there's a little more protein in there, and then also a trail mix bag. So these are just a few things that are in this month's kit. And I encourage you to pick them up at the library so you can have some fun and grab and go and start making your way around town. A few other things that you might want to consider as you put your plan together: making sure people know where you're going, because things happen. Maybe you're the one who's injured and, hopefully not, but just in case you're the one that stumbles and falls, does anyone know where you're going, just in case there needs to be intervention? The other thing that I would strongly recommend is that you have IDs on your loved one. What if they happened? They may never have done this, and I've spoken to thousands of family members who are always relieved that their loved one has never wandered. Well, here's the hard cold fact: you never get the ringing red light bell going off saying today's the day. It just happens. And if you're out and about, you may turn your back and your loved one may just walk away, and it may be just a short distance, but knowing that they have an ID on them, your name, your contact information, and maybe a little note in the wallet saying that this person has memory loss, this is their key contact, this is their name. That is something that will give you great peace of mind, because if rescue, first responders need to become involved, or even just the property management gets involved, they have tools to get a hold of you. Very often when you're in these kind of outings, you're not going to stray, but you have to always plan for worst case scenarios, and that is something that can and sadly has happened. So encouraging you, make sure that you have ID and contact information in their wallet. That gives that also them that responsibility of carrying their wallet, because very often people want to have either their purse or their wallet with them. So good purpose, great outcomes if it should ever be needed. The other thing that you want to think about is when you get to where you're going, check in, and just if there's some way for you to let people know that you're there and that you have a person with memory loss, you may want to consider. It may not be necessary, but it is something that would be helpful for that facility, that environment to know about. They might actually have special access for folks that have memory loss. So those are questions you may want to call ahead of actually and find out if there are any special abilities allowed for these situations. So as you're planning, think in terms of comfort, safety, and also hydration and nourishment. You're going to be out, you're going to be physically active, you're getting fresh air. Very often those combinations lead to someone who's very hungry. So avail yourselves of snacks, but eat healthy, eat good choices. We didn't put fresh fruit in here because it won't last. So, but you might want to throw an apple or a banana or a pear, whatever, orange, anything that travels well. You might want to throw one of those in your bag as well as you head outdoors. We want to cover a few more things that are not about town, that really kind of brings to end what we wanted to cover in this month's segment. One of the things that we do want to ask you is we're looking for feedback. So if you are watching this video, if you've picked up one of our kits, if you could please contact the library and let them know your thoughts on the program. We just want to make sure that we're meeting needs out there. If there's anything that we can do to help augment the experience for you, we'd love to do that. If you are finding them confusing, we'd like to know what we can do to make them better. And just in general, if you're enjoying them, we'd love to get that feedback as well. I want to, on behalf of Dementia Friendly, I want to thank my partner Mary Ferguson from the Birches. I want to thank Carmen Higgins from the Westmont Public Library. She's been such a great staunch support of this initiative, as has everyone at the library. And then a special shout out to the Westmont Fire Department for their donation of our little safety kits. So I see Mary is signaling to me, and Mary, do you want to just chime in?
Yes, I'm just going to chime in. I'm going to come over Patty's shoulder. So this will be our last recording that we're doing. In September, our plan is to be in person. So hopefully you'll get a chance to come and actually meet us in person, which I know Patty and I would love. Mm-hmm. So keep your eyes out for that invitation on what's going to be happening then. And then we do have a couple programs coming up in October and November that will also be live. That's more on an educational series with the Alzheimer's Association being the guest presenters. So look for those dates as well. But hopefully you'll join us next month live. So we're excited about that. Yes,
come out.
Yes, please come out.
Come out. Nice. We want to see people.
We want to see people. So that's what I just wanted to add. But again, thank you so much for joining us the last few months. Hopefully you've seen all of us. It's been a lot of fun for Patty and I, a little different, I think, for most of us having to record ourselves. We're a lot more fun in person. So
we really
are.
Although you may have found some of these entertaining, we were entertained.
So. But again, thank you so much. Have fun when you're out and about town. And then again, share your stories with us. It's always helpful for us to get great feedback. I know we enjoy doing this. The library's been great, but it does help to know where we can improve, and we want to make sure that anything that you guys need from us, we can help you out with. So.
Right. If you found the kits to be helpful, not helpful, if you found the activities to be engaging, or even any experiences that you've had doing the kids with your loved one, we'd love that feedback. Because right now when we're doing these recordings, we're just talking to ourselves. So it's always nice to get that feedback, to know people are finding it helpful, which we really hope you are. And we thank you for your time and attention. And let's see you next month.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.